Hello. Today I'm going to cover some of the differences in the iPhone 13 series. Here is everything from the Apple website. As you see in these columns, here's the 13 Pro Max, the 13 Pro, and the 13 itself. There's also your Mini, 13 Mini, and also the SE third generation currently out. So we will cover those also. But right here are these here phones. As you see, all the different color variations you can get in them. The main difference between the 13 Pro Max and the 13 Pro is the size. And you also get a larger battery and a longer lasting battery because it's a larger physical battery in the phone. It has more space that the battery can be a larger battery. So that's the nice thing. That would be like my biggest pro of getting the Pro Max over the Pro is the battery life. I don't really like the bigger screen because it's kind of hard to hold and stuff, but some people like it. So yeah, that's the biggest difference there. As you see here, you've got all of them, all of the phones have the same chip, the A15 chip. But as you see here, the battery life difference. Even the Pro's got a better battery life or better battery and life than the regular 13. I have a regular 13 and it does pretty well. I'm happy with it. I used to have 11 Pro Max, which was the biggest screen, and it had a long life on the battery, but it was hard to hold and stuff. So I'm happy with the smaller size, the more average size. Um, yeah, really, that's about it in difference between the Pro Max and the Pro. Now, a big difference between the Pro series and the 13 is the camera, the rear camera. With the Pro version phones, you get the raw image format that you can shoot pictures in, which is nice if you do editing and stuff. When you shoot images in raw format, you have much more editability, I'm going to say. You have more options, more, yeah, I'm going to say options when you edit the images. So if you're into Photoshop or Lightroom or anything, using those on the images, it's really nice to have that raw file format to work with. Now, if you don't do that, an iPhone 13 camera's really good too. It don't have the macro, like shooting down close up small objects and stuff. It's not that great. But it's good on normal pictures. So unless you really need it, you can go with a 13 iPhone. But that's the big difference between the 13 and the Pro Series ones. Plus storage. As you see, 1 terabyte storage isn't available for the 13. Um, yeah, so you got the ProMotion display too over the 13. A lot of stuff you do on a phone, you're not going to need that. But yeah, there's the difference. Really, size-wise between the 13 Pro and 13, it's the same thing. Weight it's a little less weight. This has bigger battery size. The 13 Pro does over the 13. Yeah, there's not much else. GPUs, it's a little bit different where there's an extra core on the GPU. That's it. Yeah, you're not going to hardly notice it with what you do on a phone. This is the Apple Pro Raw. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's what they have, that feature on the Pro series, the raw format for your images. You do have to enable that to shoot in raw format. Another nice thing is the night mode stuff. It has the LiDAR sensor in it, the Pro series. where it can adjust for night portraits and night dark settings and stuff. It's amazing. They do really well. So if you're at all interested in photography and stuff with your phone, definitely I would go with a Pro series phone. So you can get, if you're just going to shoot pictures in the daylight and you're not going to do any macro stuff, then go with a 13. It don't matter, you know. If you plan to shoot a ton of pictures and have a ton on your phone and you can't fit it in a 512 gigabyte phone, you'll have to go with a Pro series phone. But that's the differences. See, there's the macro part. It's not available on the 13 because it don't have that third camera on the rear. Um, Same thing here. So as you see, what all options, you still got the same 4K video recording frames per second and everything there. So that part's the same. Yeah. Um, Same front camera is the same on it. So except of course you don't get that high resolution in the 13 series, just the regular 13. Right here shows the differences in the battery life more in detailed. So yeah, it's the Pro Max has a much bigger battery here, you know, so it takes a little bit longer to charge up too, but it has more life to it also. Here's the LiDAR scanner, which is for the night mode, the 13 night mode shooting, so it can adjust. Um, the 13 doesn't have that. And most everything else is the same. They all have a lightning connector. I'm kind of surprised they didn't put that on each one, but yeah. Let's go. Let's look now. Let's put on the, I'm gonna move the 13 over here. Put the Mini here and the SE third generation. So you see here the same colors available, kind of. I mean, the SE don't have as many options, but the 13, the 13 Mini is just a smaller version of the 13. That's it. It's got a smaller battery too, so it doesn't last quite as long. 2 hours difference there. Um, Cameras, everything's the same between them. Now, your SE, no, camera's not as good. Just one single camera. You don't get that ultra wide option and stuff. I mean, it's good enough for basic stuff, but it's going to be just like if you had, let's say, well, the other the SE second gen could be a lot like the um, 10R, could be a lot like the iPhone 8 too. Just the single camera lens, so that's all it can do is a single lens on the rear. As you see, also the screen size differences here. Um, the 13 mini is going to be a lot like having an iPhone 5 or the SE first generation. Um, they're okay. I'm going to say when they came out with the mini series for the 12, they had a lot of issues with them. And they're stopping them, I believe, for the iPhone 14 series. So I would kind of stay clear of them. But some people like them. They like that smaller size, so they like them. But I kind of try to stay clear of them myself. As you see, MagSafe charging. The iPhone SE third generation does have wireless charging, but it doesn't support the faster MagSafe charging of it, so you don't get that there. And size-wise, capacity-wise, you can get They start out with a 64 gig, where this also goes up to 512, but it starts out at the 128. So some people don't store much on their phones. The 64 gig is fine with that. Here's the display. This has a Super Retina display, and this has just a Retina HD display. OLED screen, not, and this just has an LCD IPS panel, which is good enough. Resolution, you see, it's quite a difference there in the resolution. So if you like to watch videos, YouTube on your phone and stuff, I'd try to go with a 13 myself. That's what I got, so I like it. But we'll keep going here. You see the size differences, weight differences. I mean, that's a nice thing with weight there. But once you add a case and stuff, yeah, it's not a huge difference. Chips, they're all the same chip. Same cores, same everything. GPU cores, everything. Here's the cameras. This has just a single, same megapixel size, 12, but there's just a single in the SE. Your aperture, night mode. This still, the iPhone 13 support night mode and try to adjust the best they can, where the SE does no adjustment for night mode there. Image stabilization is kind of cool. It works pretty well. I have noticed that. I don't know quite the difference between these two on the image stabilization. I don't know, how much it affects it, but I know on my 13 it does really well on stabilization, especially if I'm shaking some and there's like a handwriting or something that I'm taking a picture of. It really fixes it up. You can watch it when it saves the picture, adjust to it. You got your zoom too. This has an optical zoom out, which means you can kind of go wide view, your ultra wide. That's why you got the two lenses. That's what that works with. So that's why this one doesn't have it, because it only has a single camera lens on the rear. Video recording, you have your depth of field, which is nice, where this one doesn't because it doesn't have two cameras again. It uses two cameras to measure that depth of field too. Audio zoom. I don't really use that. I will say I think I don't even know for sure on that what it is. I believe it's where the phone, if you're recording a video, the phone has many mics in it. Um, so it kind of auto detects where it's hearing the sound from and will try to amplify that microphone that it thinks the sound's closest or has the best quality. So I think that's what that is. Not sure, so don't quote me on that one. This stuff's all pretty well the same. Front camera is different. Front camera is a smaller 7 megapixel versus 12. So if you do a lot of FaceTime stuff, you know, uh, might be best to look at a 13 or higher because of that there. Or taking selfies or whatever. It's going to be a better quality picture on a 13. It's got, higher quality. So 4K on that front camera where the other one doesn't. You can do HD 1080p. Same thing with night mode adjustments and stuff on that front camera. Here is the audio playback. Supports the Dolby Atmos, which is better quality playback of audio, basically. So, again, that's another benefit of having a 13. Here's more details on the battery. Um, Charging, pretty much the same. You know, I posted another video about the SE third generation. I do not care for, at least it was the SE second generation. Batteries were horrible. Now, this one, the third generation, is told to have a better battery. So it should be better, but that was the biggest downfall of the SE second generation phones. So, what would I suggest to people? I would tell people if you're on a budget but you want a good phone that you can do pretty much anything unless you're a photographer, a really outstanding photographer, I would say get a 13. I think it's the best out of these. Now, if you're really, really on a budget and you have to go with that SE third generation, it's still a good phone for basic stuff. If you are a photographer and you want a good phone for that and you're going to use it for that, I would say do the 13 Pro only, not the Pro Max. Now, if you care a lot about battery life and having an additional, well, I think an hour, 2 hours battery, go with the Pro Max, but you got to know that screen size is going to be large and it's hard to hold. Um, yeah, so get a case or whatever that might help you hold on it. You know, some have those straps and things on the back, those pop socket things or whatever. Will help you. I would suggest that if you get a 13 Pro Max is a case that helps you to hold on to it. Um, Now on cases, a good brand I like, and I don't sponsor them or nothing, but I want to say, and they're not paying me to say this, is this Evutec brand. If you go to evutec.com, I have this exact case there, and the carbon fiber look to it. Um, it's been amazing. I have friends that have gotten these here cases, and they all like them. They have had horrible luck with other brands and stuff, you know, not lasting and cracking and stuff. These are amazing cases, and you can charge them, you know, through the case. Most of them, you got to look at all the cases and make sure it supports like MagSafe charging and such, if you're going to do that. But because I think a few of them don't that they sell. But I came across these initially. Um, where was it? Target, I found these. So if you don't like to shop online and stuff, I would look at Target, your local Target, and see if they still have these. I think they probably do. I haven't been looking for them in a store. I like to buy them online. Um, but yeah, they're great. They are great cases. They make some fabric ones like that are fabric coated. I wouldn't suggest that. Um, I think it's maybe these. Uh, yes. I had one kind of like this with this red. Yeah. Let's say if we click on one of these, this red. It was nice, but it got dirty and it looked horrible once. You know, I, I, now it was nice getting to see how dirty your case was. But I would suggest getting something you can clean better because all this is, you know, these are like holes and grooves and stuff between all this material. So you just cannot get this stuff clean. So I would not suggest doing this fabric type case, even if it's another color. You know, I've had a friend with a blue one that got dirty too. But I mean, black, you're not going to see it, but it still holds all that dirt. I would definitely do um, the like carbon fiber that's just a solid finish carbon, I think. I guess they've got other like sub brands of it too. Oh, they got a carbon brand now. Okay. just check out this site and see what you find. Find something that's a solid surface that you can clean. That's what I would suggest. But just go to evutec.com or your local Target, and they should be there still, I hope. It's been probably 4 or 5 years since I bought one in Target when I found out about this brand. All right. Well, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I hope this helps you out kind of deciding on a phone this year. And know that the iPhone 14s and stuff will be coming out this fall, probably October of 2022. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel if you want more videos about Apple products.